And I'm like, I feel, it's weird because it's like, I almost feel at home with like bullshit radio songs in a way. Ugh.
Even if some days I'd be like, maybe not. Like, it's nice to have it there.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So you're feeling better after talking to people.
I'm not feeling better, but I now have
clear.
made a decision.
Okay.
And so I feel like I'm going to put you up.
Okay.
And I know that's never something that anybody wants to fucking
not
hear,
at all.
And it's going to suck.
Would you be happy to tell me who I'm going up against?
Absolutely. You're beside Marin.
Marin.
Yeah.
That makes me feel like I'm the target this week.
It should make you feel like you're the target this week.
Okay.
But what I've had to do, like, literally the only thing, because I literally went through person by person in my head and been like, am I going to put up Will? I can't, like, I'm not going to put up Will because of X, Y, and Z. Am I going to put up, like, Allie? I'm not going to put up, and all it is based on is who I've spoken the most game with
that's fair.
the least game with.
Okay.
And I just wanted to do you the courtesy of telling you beforehand.
I would have done the same.
I just hate the idea of sitting someone on that couch and having them not know where they stand.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And I don't want you to think that this is something where it's like, at this point, it, like, I don't want to work with Maddy. I want Maddy. Like, it's just one of those things where it's like, this is what I got to do with the options I've been given.
Is there reasoning behind, like, because putting me on the block against Marin, people are not going to vote Marin out. I understand.
Really?
I think that people will just assume that they can continue to work with him. He's a little more malleable. Maybe they'll feel more that they can tell him what to do.
I feel like for me, and this is the thing too, is like, I have my own vision of who is a threat and who isn't.
For sure.
And people who are like malleable and like don't really have a side, that kind of rubs me the wrong way personally.
I understand.
As well.
Yeah, that's fine.
And I'm not saying that one of you is the target over the other.
Okay.
But it's just, I'm not coming out there being like, all right, let's put an obvious person to get out and, Marin.
Yeah.
Because for me personally, I think it's like, and again, it's
just based on my own perception of the game.
Yes, which is completely fair.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to be very respectful of everybody's
for
perception of the game and the means in which they play it.
Yes.
And it's one of those things where it's like, for me, I'm going to have different values in a human than the rest of the house. And I recognize that.
Yeah.
And you're going to have different values. In
definitely.
Whatever.
Yeah.
And I know it fucking sucks.
No, it does.
Like, you're going up.
But as a surprise, it would be way worse.
I think so too, right?
And do you think that, like, when you're saying values, do you feel like we don't necessarily add up when it comes to the values in the game?
No, I don't even think it's that. And I think
you don't even owe me an explanation. I'm just asking.
I would like to give you an explanation though. Like, I don't think there's anything wrong with that.
Yeah.
Like, for me personally, I think that you respect the game a lot.
I do.
And I appreciate that in a human a lot.
Yeah.
I also think that Marin respects the game a lot.
Yes,
which is why it's unfortunate that, like, there are some people who kind of do a big to the game. But it's one of those things where it's like, targets on my back, targets on, like, it's just, it's so complex.
The curiosity to me about it is I do feel like I am very close, and especially opinion-wise of how I voted this week.
Yeah.
I feel like I am close to the people that I don't know for sure, but that I feel like you are close to. So to me, for me to
feel that close to anyone.
Okay, that's understandable.
And I think that's part of my issue.
Okay.
Is where I'm like, and I agree from that perspective where it's like, we voted the same way this week.
No, but
maybe I'll look back at this and look like a big fucking idiot.
No, I'm not the rogue vote.
I don't think you're the rogue vote.
I'm not.
And I'm not doing this because I'm like, well, you know, Maddy's going against the house and I'm going to go against Maddy. And it's, it's not malicious like that.
No, I don't feel like it is at all. And if it was malicious, I would take only malicious if it were to be a surprise. Then I kind of would have been like, but that, especially coming from you, who's straight shooter, we're very similar in that way. For it to become out of left field, I would have been very like disappointed kind of in a way, because I would have felt like then my character like assessment would not have been right. So I totally get it. It's fine.
I'll break it down for you even like a little bit further, because it's like, obviously I'm putting you and Marin up because least amount of game talk or like spoken about, but also like for like you personally, there are some fundamental not even differences, but challenges that I would see working, like moving forward.
Okay.
Not set in stone.
No, for sure.
But just from perception based on the lack of game chats that we've
Understandable. Totally understandable.
And for me, and I've always said this to you and we've agreed on it, where it's like, I'd rather someone say, I don't know, than lie. Yeah. 100%. But it's just like, I feel like because we haven't, and it's not just you, it's a 50-50 give and take in this, which is so irritating, because it's like.
But that's part of being HOH.
But you're not, like, I don't want you to sit there and be like, why didn't I talk game with Eric or whatever? Because in order for you to talk game, I need to talk game.
Exactly.
And we need to have that mutual exclusivity where it's like, if I'm going to bring something to the table, so are you.
Yeah.
And it's not like I can sit here confidently and be like, I've tried to talk game with you and you gave me nothing.
Yeah.
It isn't even like that.
Yeah.
It's just I'm working with like
limited
the least
resources
progressive.
overall.
Well, that's it.
And even just like circumstantially throughout the progression of the game so far, it just hasn't added up. Like being in heaven and hell was different. I had isolated priorities the first week, but like all these pool of different situations. I'm obviously not going to have any interest in staying on the block at all.
Yeah. And I wouldn't expect you to.
No, and should there be any kind of veto situations, definitely don't expect like placidness from this.
Absolutely.
But understanding that you've been like so like forthcoming and all that, I don't think moving forward it would even be a target situation. I'd rather play with people who are going to be forthcoming.
And it's one of those things where it's like, if you like, for me too, if you pull yourself off the block, fucking awesome.
Yeah.
Because now I can see that you're able to play and bring it and really.
No,
like,
exactly. That's why I wanted to win yesterday to prove that I could contribute in that kind of way. So.
And it's one of those things where it's like, I'm still like, as this week goes on, I don't want you to feel like you have to avoid me or that you can't talk game with me or that we can't because I still think that every single, and I think that it's almost lost a little bit when you are HOH.
Yes.
Is I don't want, because we were doing well. We were on a steady incline.
To be honest, I'm so disappointed that this is the conclusion because I do feel like our trajectory was not headed this direction. Yeah. It's disappointing to hear that this unfortunately is the result, obviously.
I get that.
But for me to be
There's
just
no
like,
other feeling.
Everything's fine would also not be right.
Completely fair.
And I feel like the last week we were very like honest about even not knowing, like you're saying, is still an answer.
Yes.
So for me to sit here and say like, no worries, I'm not like gonna be, like I'm not gonna lay down and take it, if that makes sense. But I don't think you wouldn't.
You wouldn't be you if you did.
No, exactly, and vice versa also.
Yeah.
So I definitely don't plan on being like avoiding you and being like, oh no, like you know what I mean? I think that even though putting someone on the block is, if you went out, it would be better for my game, like as a blanket statement.
Yeah.
I don't necessarily feel like it's not an unusable experience as to people should I be off the block at some point.
Yeah.
Or
and that's what I found interesting about like, and this is, I don't think I realized this as much watching it.
Yes.
Is like, Hams went up on the block.
Yeah.
And after he made it off the block, like him being on the block is why he's still here.
No, I know.
Which makes no sense.
Yeah.
But it's like, because this game is ever changing, ever growing.
Yes.
I really just, my biggest fear in this is being like, okay, well, you thinking like, okay, well, Erica basically said, fuck you, I don't want to work with you ever.
It doesn't feel like that.
And I would anticipate it didn't.
No.
And it's like, I like the way our like relationship is progressing. It sounds like this is like a weird
story arc or something. But
I'm like, I love the way our relationship is progressing.
Not
but
good enough. So welcome to the block.
Well, it's just it feels like that episode. I said this the other day. It feels like that episode of like the fucking just like dating whatever show where it's like there's nothing at all wrong with what we have. It's just not like where.
It doesn't line up right now. And I understand that there are definitely other people this week or last week or through the game that you feel like you also haven't talked a game with.
Yes.
But then probably don't see the same type of potential in a player at this point.
So that's the other thing too. It's like there's a difference between someone I don't talk game with, but I don't think can bring it.
Yes.
And someone that I don't talk game with and I think can honestly bring it.
And that's a strategic admission that you're making by putting me on the block.
Yeah.
So I'm glad that you understand that that's what it is.
Yeah.
Not even in a threatening way. It's just like, I do understand that I wasn't the only one that you felt haven't made like game talk moves with.
100%.
And I didn't want to play such a neutral social game that everyone would be like,
random floater, who cares?
Yes.
Because you're not a fucking floater.
Not at all.
No.
And I don't
you're a strong, and this is the thing too, I always feel like, not always, because this has never happened to me before, but I feel like a bit of a...
People want to pit women like us against each other.
Okay, so this is exactly where I was going to go with that. And and that's exactly where and this is why this game is fucking annoying. Yeah. But like...
You don't have to pit us against each other.
I know. And it's one of those...
I mean, the names are not on the screen.
They're not on the screen.
I'm not trying to pitch at this point, but you don't have to take it there.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, I think with this move, it might have to go there as the game progresses.
Yeah.
Because as the weeks go forward, people are more solid in the directions that they have to go.
Right.
Based on who they vote for, based on who they whatever.
It's a very valid point.
And even if you were, which I don't think you would, because I'm decisive once I've made a decision, and I feel like you'll be the same way. It doesn't have to go that way.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, I think if I do, especially if I stayed on the block beyond veto, it's what it would have to be. I don't want to play that game either. There's a reason why people are like, women alliances don't work. It's not about the women in the alliance. It's about the house around the alliance and about how it,
how
all
women
the factors
speak about women
all together.
And how women interpret other women's assertiveness and how women interpret other women's socialness.
And even within the game, like, we have our own life in this game. And then there's other things like what in the 3 hours of program comes up, and then what in certain rooms people say, and then in certain rooms other people don't say. It's easy to get misconstrued as two strong women are not going to want to work together because they're afraid of each other. I don't think, and I mean, it doesn't come from any base because I'm not HOH, you're HOH. I wouldn't have liked to go down this road. So it's unfortunate that we may be starting a path that direction. And that's just like where I would come from a.
So where,
did you consider?
and just where, like, on the train that you're at right now. Because I'm here for it. You know what I mean?
For sure.
So what, if you were in my position, I'm not saying names, I'm just saying what types of individuals are you more, I guess, on the track of being like, absolutely not?
Non-committal as opposed to I don't know. And
so more
people
floppy?
who feel threatened by, like, it's easy to feel like, not offended is too strong of a word, but easy to feel a little bit like about not included in a conversation, but someone who can't keep from asking about conversation, someone who feels insecure in their own standing enough to be nosy and to stretch truth or to place value in things that may need to just be left alone. That's what I am personally planning to play against so far, because as the weeks progress, I want to understand the variables in which I'm up against. You and I are clear variables in personality, this and this. People who can't handle not knowing everything all the time, who can't handle having someone have a conversation and then not completely taking it apart and seeing
it's the insecurity of the whole. And
I would rather play with people who want to play as opposed to like want to analyze. I don't know.
And people who are too nervous to actually do anything. People who are,
I really was nervous coming into this game, as exactly what I feel like unfortunately is happening right now, is for strong women to be against strong women. And I know that's such a trope, that's such a big stereotype.
No, you're like hitting the nail on the head for me right now.
People for different reasons. Because I had such a different start to the game as you, we've had different groups for those reasons. And that's, I understand why. But to be honest, I was very excited to have any of the game talks that we had last week, even though they had to be fleeting because it was a scramble in the house. This is like mega disappointing. Not to be on the block because the line is drawn this way. So if that is something more for you to consider, then that's that. But I understand nominations are in like 20 minutes.
That was probably like the best pitch ever.
Well, it's not a pitch.
No, but like that's facts. That's like you literally just laid out facts.
But I understand also that we had a conversation about somebody who can make a pitch as a salesperson is a threat in the game too.
Different.
I hope you understand that I'm not trying to do that.
I was thinking about that today because that was such a good The
moment that things changed for me with you, I'll be honest, is it wasn't a game talk. It was when we were out on the deck and I told you a story that I didn't want to tell people in this game because I thought people would be intimidated by me telling that story.
Oh, don't think that that's why.
No, I don't think it is. But
if anything, hearing that story made me gain in like immense amounts of respect for you as a woman and as a player.
Your reception to the story made me say, maybe I don't have to be against people like me in this house. Maybe people like me in this house and I can actually make sense. Because so far in any of the game that I know, it hasn't made sense, and I don't understand why that can't be a thing. So I don't feel like we're a threat to each other at this point. I feel like because we understand each other on such a level, it would be a later on issue. But as of right now, I feel like it's kind of unwise to take somebody out of the equation that you can relate to on more levels than just the game.
Totally fair.
And we are starting to relate on a game level, so to put a halt on that, to me, seems kind of silly. But it's not my decision. It's not my decision, and I get it, and I respect your forthcomingness. Also, I have to say, I did not have a feeling. I knew I would be sort of in the questionable pack. Makes sense. But unfortunately, because that is how I felt during that conversation, and like even yesterday, like all of that stuff made me feel, okay, I feel like I'm ready to connect on a game level with her, so it's too bad that would get a pause button or a complete stop. And as you're saying, who would you consider putting? It's the people that that aren't sure of themselves enough to be able to bring it, you know?
Yeah, to play.
And it seems like a weak move to take out somebody who doesn't seem like they're here to play. They're just playing a different game and a game that I don't want to play with either.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I don't know if I'm necessarily pitching. I just don't want the two, like, not the two,
and
because there's multiple, like,
I do hear you.
Bad bitches in this house. I don't want it to be that stereotype, but they're always pitted against each other all the time. It doesn't have to be that way.
Yeah.
And for us to be so similar in so many levels, and now finally starting to come together in a game circumstance, seems a little like mixed up to me. But it's not my decision.
And I do feel that.
And you earn the HOH.
It's not
up
falling
to
on
me.
deaf ears. Like, just so you know, it's not falling on deaf ears. And also, now that we're on week 4 of this game, the game changes so damn fast.
It does.
And I don't want, like... And I didn't realize, especially as a fan, I thought it was like HOH. I know how the game works, but it seemed like HOH nominates, and then there's the veto, and then there's noms.
Yeah.
But like the fact that like veto and noms are so
close.
Like,
well,
it's like they're so much more important than I gave them credit for.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I thought it was like HOH puts people up, and then the house kind of just decides. Like, so much changes.
No.
And so much like because, and like I said, it's not like I'm sitting here being like, clear target.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
But it would be a clear target, me against you. And that's what it would look like because of the people that we are.
And I get that.
And I'm not saying...
you're not wrong.
It's not a threat, like, it's a clear target. It's not... That's not personally how I'd feel.
Yeah.
But the week is not about the 2 people on the block and the HOH putting them there.
Yeah.
It's about the house deciding on who stays.
Yeah. And as record would show, as history would show, and I get that.
Yes. And I really hope that this, I don't know, like, I can't change your mind. I didn't really even come here to change your mind. I think I just came to, like, by the way, this is what
this is what I need. I need someone who's going to give me, like, multiple perspectives of it.
Well, that's...
And so I appreciate the multiple...
And it's not even a multiple perspective. It's my perspective.
And that's,
And it's not a pitch, I guess, as much as it is because of the circumstance.
Yeah.
Should you have said, you know, I'm voting out or I'm putting so-and-so and so-and-so on the block.
What do you think?
I think I would have sat and said the same thing.
I agree.
Thank you for not putting me up because X, Y, and Z points I just gave to you.
Yeah.
And
I feel that.
Something that I feel like probably got lost in, like, the fluff of all the hinky vote and then the HOH fast. Part of the reason why I did not vote to keep Jesse was because of how, like... It was a fork in the road, you know? And even if I wasn't going to be on the fork of the road that kept the person, it was still a statement to be made. And that statement was to take 2 completely separate circumstances, do this, say I don't know, and decide that I think that I'm going to put faith in the possibility of a relationship with somebody that I need to not only build, but, like, maybe dig up and fill in and then build again.
Right.
And I really feel like I've been putting my good efforts into that relationship.
Yeah.
Genuinely.
Yeah.
And as a genuine person, which I feel like you can attest to being, as well as I know you can see in me, it's not bullshit. So I hate that the idea of me being on the block would imply, maybe not to the house, but to our relationship, that you don't feel like I'm being genuine in my idea of...
No, it's not an idea of... like, I literally... You and Marin are 2 of the most genuine people here.
Well, yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, you're straight shooters. You're like... It's literally just one of those things where I had to go through person by person. And some people, like you said, you're right, we talk just as little game.
So I just don't see, like... quite like, well, I do see it makes sense. Like,
I know.
Yeah.
But it's one of those things where it's like, and I know you're not pitching, but please feel free to continue to not pitch.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
yes.
Like, because like I said, this game changes so quick.
But to be honest, part of the effort, if I was to be on the block, unfortunately, it might not be my most worthwhile direction for you. So it would bring us even more separate.
Yeah, that's fair.
Because with only the tiebreaker vote, potentially, it comes to, like, well, which relationships have I built already and which can I reinforce to hopefully make sure that I stay.
Yeah.
But I understand that you have your own relationships, and if you develop some kind of direction that you want the week to go, you have just as much influence as I would, if not more. So I get that.
Yeah,
so,
I don't know.
Yeah, so it all makes sense. I get what you're saying for sure. I do believe that it could be, like, a shitty direction for both of us.
Yeah.
Obviously, more so me being on the block and not HOH this week.
Yeah, and it's unfortunate because it's like, we're coming up on potentially a double.
Yes, we are.
And so to be the HOH before a double is not like an easy task. I'm so sure
it's next week. I'm so sure it's next week.
You don't think it's coming up this week?
I think it's like this coming Thursday, yeah.
I think so too.
Yeah.
There's no way.
There's no way it's not. And like, I love this game so much, even though I was late to the party.
Yeah.
And to be part of something that I appreciate, respect, and love so much, and I'm so thoroughly invested in, that is like so incredibly shitty.
And I was gonna say this is like the triple threat of disheartening.
Yes.
And I'm very apologetic.
Yeah.
That this is how I just and I literally almost cowered out telling you.
It doesn't have to be like that.
I know.
This conversation doesn't have to leave.
Yeah.
But it's also not up to me.
Yeah.
So I'll respect any decision that you make.
Yeah.
Will not take it laying down, of course,
I would
either
not
direction.
expect you to.
But I really think that, to be honest, it is not ideal for either of us, and as much as being potentially going home is extra not ideal for me, I think circumstantially, I think it could be
just as not ideal for me as well.
Yeah, I really do.
I know.
And that's what I think.
I know.
Yeah.
And I appreciate that. And it's not falling on deaf ears. I don't want you to think that it is.
No, definitely not.
As I stand here, like, I look like such a fucking idiot.
No, you don't.
I'm literally like,
yeah.
It's not falling, like.
Yeah, no, that's okay.
But it is one of those things where it's like, oh, fuck, man. It's a weird week to be HOH as well.
Yes, I agree.
Especially when there's not been any like clear lines in the sand drawn yet. And I don't know where on that line I even stand.
I mean, it's horseshit coming from me sitting potentially like a step away from the block, and that I truly would not have considered putting you up this week.
And I believe that.
I know.
And I think that's why I feel so fucking shitty about it.
I wouldn't say it if I didn't think you'd believe it.
No.
So I don't know if that makes a difference to you.
Yeah.
I think it should, but it's not up to me once again, and I respect the win of HOH and the responsibility it brings. I also respect I'm not the only person you considered.
Yeah.
So that makes sense.
Yeah.
I just think a predictable variable on the block for you is not as sensible as an unpredictable variable on the block for you.
It's fair. It's a valid point.
But that's that. Again, a good sales pitch is as intimidating as whatever. And it doesn't really feel, trying not to do it.
It's
that
not.
way.
That's not what it is.
If it was in front of a room full of people, if it was me leading this and going blah 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 blah, that would be it. I have no intentions of doing those things.
But there's a difference between someone who's just pitching, like from a sales perspective, and someone who's just honestly passionate about the game. I'm passionate about the potential that we have as two people playing this game. Yeah.
It's not as much the game itself as of what a missed opportunity I would feel like it is. Yeah. Especially by the way I voted last week. Yeah. That was part of like the step I was trying to take in an alternate direction. Yeah. So not that it would have made a difference.
Yeah.
But it's just I feel like this is a game where you have like literally like a couple of tools.
Yeah.
And the variables surrounding you are one of those tools. I just think that it's like, why? Like, and I would have loved to have you on my side of the variables as well.
Yeah.
Because it's just like we're so similar. Like,
I know, it's kind of dumb.
Yeah, it's not,
like kind
it's
of silly.
Not dumb.
No, it's like I'm saying it's kind of insane. Like it's kind of like.
And it's unfortunate that neither of us were able to make that connection prior, because it is 50-50.
And it sucks. It sucks so much that it's like so circumstantial.
Yes.
You know what I mean? It's not like it was like based on like just personality incompatibility, or if it was like avoidance, or if it was literally just like literally what you said, our circumstances just didn't align in the first little bit. And that just like
until last week.
I know.
And until the last 3 days.
Yeah.
So like I don't know if that's enough compared to others that maybe you still feel like you don't align with.
Yeah.
But to have somebody here and have like a strong idea of how they feel about you and you backwards, I could understand that is not threatening, but like something to consider also.
Yeah.
So yeah. I really don't want to go on the block.
I know you don't.
I know really don't. And I would be lying if I sat here. I'm not going to cry. They made me cry earlier. That's why my threshold was low. No. No.
We got it?
Nope.
Nope. Fuck. We got it.
I'm here. I'm fine.
Do you want Ellie?
Nope.
Okay. We're fine.
Sorry. Thank you. But no. No. Yeah.
No, I don't.
I definitely, I hope, and I don't say wish because, again, laying down and taking it would be like, whatever you decide.
No. Dude, if you said that to me, I'd be like, well, you're full of shit because I know who you are as a person.
I just really thought that the trajectory of our relationship would go another way.
In a different direction.
Yeah.
And I almost, like, And it's one of those things that now I'm in this position. I almost wish I was not in this position because just to see how it would have played out. It could have given it another 5
minutes to figure it out. I mean, you haven't pressed the buttons yet.
No, you're not wrong.
Yeah, it's what it is. I just think it's just like so like unfortunate.
Yeah.
And like I know that there's people that you have talked to, and while they talk, you think,
maybe not. Yeah.
Yeah, and I don't feel like you think that when you speak to me.
Yeah.
Like, why would you take somebody out that you don't feel that way when they speak to you?
Fair.
So, I don't know. But we can definitely end this conversation. I know you have a lot to think about. I'm not about to, like, steal you from a room full of people that definitely still want to talk to you.
Yeah.
But I truly hope I do not see my name on that screen today. It will definitely, like, not draw a line because this game is not finite. Like, it's what it is.
It is malleable. It's more malleable than I thought it was.
But it would be a really unfortunate direction for us because putting my vote where I put it, for the reasons that I put it there, was really a step in this direction.
Yeah.
So it would make me feel a little bit like a little played.
Yeah.
So.
Well, for me, I had no vested interest in either way last week. And that's, I think, one of the other things, too, is I'm like, last week was ridiculously hard.
Yeah.
And either way, I lost. Mm-hmm. Like, I lost either way that last week. And I don't think I realized how much being HOH, you still kind of feel like you're losing.
That's something that I have had, like, a lot of conversations with Johnny about, because to be honest, coming up into this, I was definitely feeling the pressure of having only, like, a few days of game talk with you. And that's something that he sort of reassured me. He's like, well, she definitely doesn't feel comfortable. Even though you're safe, you're not comfortable.
No.
And I'm sure that's how you felt last week, too. Like, having just randomly been safe because of a pick. But then, like, you know, the circumstances were not up in your alley either.
No, it's been 2 weeks of literal hell.
Yeah, and it's too bad because this also, like, with Johnny, too, I just love the shit out of him, and he's been, like, so helpful for me in this game and, like, being a presence here. I think that, like, it's... Anyways, everything was just adding up so well. Like, it's too bad that this is, like, how this week might have to go.
Well, I was having a conversation with Marin where I was like...
Did you tell him?
Yeah, I told him.
Okay.
I literally just spoke to him right before I spoke to you because I was like, there's no way I'm not telling... I don't know. I would be really, really, really hurt if someone put me on the block and didn't give me a warning, and then I had to have my entire reaction monitored by the rest of the room.
Yeah.
Like, to feel all these feelings sitting on an ottoman, like, I just think it's really disrespectful, especially this early on in the game when that doesn't need to happen.
No, exactly.
But I was handcuffed to Marin last week. I spent a week in the catacombs with Marin. I, like, really grew. He was like, man, like he's like, I'm kicking myself for not trying to do this sooner. And I was like, but that's not how it works.
Do you think if we were handcuffed, we would have had game conversations?
I would assume so.
Yeah, me too.
I would assume so.
But we weren't, so we don't know.
I mean, I was also weeping, so maybe that's...
Yeah, that's a possibility.
And I was also livid with Marin last week.
Yeah,
so.
That's okay.
Literally, Marin would be like, it'll be okay. I was like, go away, Marin. He's like, I'm handcuffed to you. I'm like, just go away.
Yeah. No, that's totally fine. I think you're making, not a mistake. I think the perspective you have may not be the way I feel like you should see it. But coming from somebody who's potentially going on the block, of course.
But it's not because, like, it's not, and this is, like, someone was saying to me that, like, yesterday or today, they were like, I know this all sounds so dumb just because you're HOH, like, it sounds like I'm saying silly shit. And I'm like, just because of the circumstances doesn't make anything you say any less true.
Yeah. For sure.
And, like, I don't feel like you're the kind of person to blow smoke up my ass for nothing.
No.
There he goes, too big. No,
no, it's not even that.
No,
I don't even consider myself having much of an ego. I think I'm, like, humble enough, but there's times where I'm like, well, no, like, you won't be able... And that's another thing that's just like, oh, it's like nails on a chalkboard with this week. It's like, some people just tell people what to do, or they just wait to be told what to do.
Yeah.
And there were definitely times that I needed to hear others' opinions this week to help me.
Because it was a complex week.
But nobody could have told me. And I feel like, unfortunately, sometimes that's just, like, I don't... Anyways, I'm not going to get into it. I don't want to come in here and throw people's names under the bus, especially in this situation. I don't think that's fair for them, and I don't think that comes off good on my part. Which is, like, a very honorable thing for you to say. Yeah. And, you know, as somebody...
Because there's a lot of people that if I had told that would have been like, what about this name, and, like...
That's not how I want to play this game.
Yeah.
But, yeah, like, a name up on the screen is the line, and it's just so... It's shitty, and it's still... I mean, it's not there until you put it there. I just think that... I just would really hate it.
Yeah.
But it's, you know...
Understandably so.
Yeah, for sure.
You've given me a lot to think about.
Okay.
Shit.
I mean...
Damn. See, I wish I could be in here with a list, like, of photos. It's so hard to, like...
Yeah.
Conceptualize.
I mean...
Fuck.
Yeah.
All right.
Do you want some time by yourself? Do you want me to send somebody in?
I think I'm just gonna like walk around.
Okay.
See what's good. See if I feel inspired to pull anyone in.
As of now, I'll take your word as what it is unless you tell me otherwise. Sounds like a plan?
Yeah.
Okay.
And I apologize. I hope you can at least feel a little bit better that like I would have told you beforehand.
If you hadn't, I would have been shocked. I'm still shocked though.
I know. But like even more shocked, I suppose. Fuck.
Yeah, I would be shocked and shitty. It's still shocked.
I'm here. Yeah. You don't like I said, you really don't have to. Changes as the week goes.
I know that. But the week can also start on a different foot too.
That's fair.
Yeah. So I don't know. I'm disappointed, but understand and like much respect. You're playing the way.
If you weren't disappointed, that means you don't care to be here. So.
Oh, of course I care to be here.
And I can.
Yeah, and so do you. So that's part of the reason why you're being like this.
I'm being a fucking idiot.
Yeah. I think you are, Erica. I'm sorry. I do.
I know.
But I don't think you're an idiot. I think you might be being an idiot at this time. But that's my perception. So yeah. So let me know. Maybe let me know either way.
Yeah.
Right beforehand.
Sure.
Yeah. Sounds good.
Yeah. I'll do my best unless I get like.
Well, like call right now.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cool. All right.
Sounds good.
See you later.
Thank you.
No problem.
Jesus Christ. This is the second time she's told me that she's disappointed in me. I feel like this changes nothing.